All right, everyone. Well, we are at the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and kick this off today. And I'm going to turn it over to our amazing panel to introduce themselves. And first off, we have an introduction by, let's see here, looks like Amy Adams. So go ahead, take it away, Amy.
I'm Amy Adams, and I am a real estate broker, and I live here in North Georgia, but I'm an instructor in a lot of different states across the country, and I live in North Georgia. I have a chocolate Labrador. I have two sons that were, I had just had, I had a 6-week-old baby and he is in college now when I went to real estate school. And but I was in the service industry for many years before that. I still hold my master cosmetology license. And you can see all the things about me on the PowerPoint that I love I love working at the CE shop because I can help all of you get into the industry that I love. It is everything I love about lifestyle and home, but it's also the people industry. And people live in houses, and that's who I help. And so next, I think we're going to talk to Michelle.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle White. I am the national mortgage expert here at the CE shop. Yes, that is 30 years in the mortgage industry. And I got my first job in this industry because I knew that the word mortgage had 2 G's in it. True story. I have done a lot of different stuff, and I've worked in a lot of different places. As a military spouse, we traveled around a lot, so I got to learn a lot about different states and the way different states do mortgages, which was very interesting. I originally planned to jump careers to education, but I planned and the Army laughed, and we ended up moving and retiring much before I had anticipated. And I did finish my degree in education, but that brought me right back into the mortgage industry. So as many times as I've tried to change jobs, it's always brought me right back in because I do have a passion for it. And if you really have a passion for helping people, this is a great place to be. And I think next we're going to talk to Steve.
My name's Steve. I'm a home inspector. Been with AHIT for quite some time. I started my career way back when in real estate as well. I've had a real estate license since '89 in various states, but I merged into home inspections. I was literally AHIT student number 1 in 1994. Grew my home inspection company. Ultimately sold it in 2005, which is certainly an option for those doing the home inspection as an industry or as a business. And I am the poster child for someone who has no idea what they're doing in construction. When I started, you can see on my bio, I have a degree in zoology from University of Michigan, absolutely no experience, education, what have you, in construction, engineering, architecture, what have you. I learned everything, grew my company, been quite successful, been an instructor with AHIT for the last 25 years-ish. And it's a great industry, a lot of opportunity, which we'll get into in the next couple sections. And next up is Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm so excited to be here with you all. You can see the profile. We don't need to talk about that. For me, it's all about those of you that are interested in coming into this profession. For the appraiser profession itself, what it was an evolution, is what I call it. Being a real estate broker and then evolving into an appraiser, I really liked doing the numbers, analyzing the data. Now, what's interesting about that is I am 100% dyslexic, 100% dyslexic. So you do not have to be good in math. Actually, the dyslexia helped me be a better appraiser because I double check my numbers. So with that, I'm so excited that we're able to start this. So we'll go ahead and get into our objectives for today.
Sounds great. Thank you. As we just kind of take a quick look at the questions we're going to run through here today, I'm just going to throw out a fast poll just to hear from the audience and who's joining us today. So if you see that poll pop up on your screen, if you could just give us a quick answer. My current job title is just looking to understand where everybody's coming from, what perspectives we're coming from, and that's going to help our panelists really with their answers to you guys. Maybe there's some consistencies or some areas that people are coming from the same place or maybe very different. So we'll just let that run another second here. Looks like we've got some good participation coming in, and great. I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll here and let's see what we've got. Got over 54% participated, and let's share the results. Lots of different different job titles here today. This looks great. We are going to go ahead and kick on. So turning it over to Becky.
Awesome, thank you. Why do you want to enter in, and I'm going to call it a profession, because as appraisers, that's what we like to call ourselves, as we're a professional within the real estate industry. Why would you want to enter the industry or the profession right now? We are in need of new appraisers, number one. We have a lot of changes that are taking place at the federal level when it comes to communication. So a lot of my current appraisers, where that median age is like 67 years old, and the technology is increasing so much that we need to really have more people that have an understanding of technology that are involved. And it doesn't have to be even techie. It literally is just being involved with understanding and updating, such as ChatGPT. So another reason is diversity. Appraising is not just about mortgage work. There's a lot of different appraising in many different realms. For example, one of the top issues today, Homeland Security. There are appraisals that are being needed for the immigration checks that are taking place. Part of that is your schedule. You can have control whether you're working for maybe Department of Transportation, Department of Homeland Security, or if you're being self-employed and having the ability to have your own schedule. And with that, I'm going to flow over to Steve, because I know that's one of the big things about being a home inspector too, is having that control. So take it away, Steve.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. And the reason I got into the industry was the low startup cost. That's one of the biggest things that people are concerned about is, you buy a Subway franchise, it's going to cost you $300,000. This is not at all that type of industry. And as I already mentioned, clearly had no background in the industry. I basically was starting from scratch. And in the market, I did not live. I moved from LA to Phoenix in '94 and opened up my company in Phoenix. So I didn't even live there. I just moved there because it's where I wanted to go. And we opened up a home inspection company, and that was a horrible housing market. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember the market in '94. It was a terrible housing market, not anywhere near like it is today. And we still were quite successful. So if you have the gumption, the motivation, the wherewithal to put in the time to do the training, the market is kind of irrelevant. We go hand in hand with the real estate market. As the market goes up, it goes down. It doesn't really matter. People always need home inspections. About 80% or so of home buyers get a home inspection. So obviously that being the majority of them, there's plenty of business to go around. It is very, very flexible. You can work full-time, you can work part-time, you can work for yourself, you work for somebody else, or you can do what I did, which was start a company, grow it, and then sell it and get a really big check after about 10 years. So the opportunity is yours. Just put in the time. And as long as you do it, it's pretty hard not to be successful, quite honestly, because there's always a need for home inspectors because just like in the appraisal industry, the industry is aging. And I'm in my 60s, right? So I'm kind of near the end of the program as far as the typical home inspector. So we need new home inspectors to come into the market. So let's talk about mortgages. So that would be Michelle.
Great, thank you. So I guess why enter the industry now? Why not now? And why not you? It takes time to get started. You've got to take your classes and get licensed, and take your exam and pass it before you get your license. And it takes some persistence and some time to really build up your base and become successful. Mortgages run in cycles. You might as well get in now because we're coming up on another cycle where I think, mortgage is going to take some turns, and we're going to see some more need for mortgages and some more need for refinances, and maybe those home equity loans, to make all the repairs that Steve tells you need to be done. It's not a bad time to start. Supplement your income now so that when the market comes back around, you will be ready to be full-time, have all of your referrals and your circle of influence in place, and be ready to go. The average age in the mortgage industry right now of a mortgage loan originator is 44. So, if you're a little younger than that, or you decide you want to go into it, maybe you're the person that's going to change that and change the face of what a mortgage loan originator looks like. And
All right.
finally, Amy.
Thanks, Michelle. You kind of stole some of my answers. And why now is real estate is cyclical, like Michelle said. It will go up, it will down. It always tends to correct itself. And unless you live under a rock, you know that the real estate industry might be a little bit sluggish right now. But I got my first license in 2007, right before the world supposedly ended. And it was a great time to get my license because I could get in. It's a huge responsibility to help people spend that much money, either selling their home or buying a new home, buying their first home. It's a huge responsibility. So I was able to ease into the business and get my feet underneath me by the time the wheel turned back around. And there are times in real estate where it is more easy to get business and to stay busy. And so if you get your feet underneath you when it's a little bit sluggish, you will know and be the expert by the time everything turns around. And one of the things that I love about my job is that it is the effort that you put in is commensurate with what you get back out of it. My mother worked at a large hospital for 30 years, and she made the same paycheck every 2 weeks. Some weeks she really busted it, and some weeks it was not so busy, but she always made the same. But I always have been, I think, I told you guys I was a hairdresser before this, and I could go to work and bust it and make $1 million, or I could go to work and make a living. After I had a baby, I did it part-time as something because it was a passion of mine. But you can make it whatever you want to be. And if you get in, when other people think it's slow, you have the time to become an expert. But I always say, this is the United States. People live in houses, someone owns them. And so even if there are so many other things to do in real estate besides residential real estate sales, which is what we all think of.
Great. Thank you so much, Amy. Let's jump back over to expert appraisal and hear from Becky on the next question.
Thank you. And Amy, oh my gosh, love it, right? So Michelle didn't steal your thunder at all. You create your own thunder, number one, right? So the fact that busting it, you gave to me, right? What's the key to the success in the professional appraisal career? Exactly what Amy said. You can make your own decision on the hours that you're working or how hard you're going to bust it, right? That's one of the keys to the success in the appraisal career. Part of that is also the fact that a lot of my fellow wonderful panels talked about slowdown. In the appraisal profession, we don't have that lull. We don't have that slowdown because it's not just the mortgage lending world, which a lot of appraisers start with, But then appraisers learn their specialty. Where are they going to specialize? Is it going to be in tax grievance? Is it going to be in court work? Or something that might be, like I had mentioned earlier, the new hot item right now is the Homeland Security and looking at the scope of work, because appraisals are needing to be done for our immigrants that are in the United States. So part of the key to the career is learning. That's what it's all about. And for you guys, because you're the newbies, it's understanding the process. You will be getting an ebook that's actually on page 16. I'm a little bit biased to my other panelists here. Page 16 actually is going to give you the whole framework of becoming an appraiser. And it is complex, but that is one of the nuggets that the CE shop can do for you, is clarify it. So with that, Steve, what do you think your keys in success have been?
Ours is pretty simple in our industry. I mean, like I said, we're part of the program, just like appraisal and mortgage. But what we do is really dependent on yourself. I mean, if you have just a little bit of gumption, motivation, like I said, you can be very successful. The key is, quite honestly, getting your butt out into the market and meeting people, right? Which is a great opportunity. You meet a lot of nice people, a lot of different people. You get the buyers, you got the sellers, you got the realtors. A lot of opportunity to meet people, socialize, mingle, build networks. And that's really the key to this, because if you think about it, a lot of guys, when they first get into the industry, I always ask them, why did that agent refer you the very first time? And they're like, what do you mean? I said, the very first time they referred you for a home inspection to their client, they had no idea if you knew how to do a home inspection, right? It was just, something happened that they did that. And the answer is real simple. They liked you, right? You went out there, you met people, you were personable. And that's really the key. So you don't have to have, great sales abilities. You don't have to have great technical ability. You can pick up all that stuff. I personally did not have any of that, and I learned all of it in the process of running my company. And most of my home inspectors that work for me were the same. They didn't have any sales ability, marketing ability. But if you just go out and be a kind of nice, normal person and meet people and talk to people, you will grow your business. We did a lot of inspections in the 10 years I had my company in Phoenix. And it was all grown organically, just in-house. I mean, there was no internet, there was no, websites to speak of when I started this company back in the mid to late 90s. So it was all just people, and it still is the case today. Obviously, technology helps. You have your software for writing your report and, compiling the information for the home inspection itself. But really, it's just all about people. And if you like people, it's a great opportunity. So let's toss it over to Michelle for some mortgage insights.
Thanks. So, gosh, the key to success in the mortgage industry, there's so many of them, but there's two I really want to focus on really quick. The first one being flexibility, right? There's a new generation of borrowers out there that are tech savvy, they're fast paced, they want to do a lot of stuff online. They communicate differently. Their texts, their emails, they just do things in a different way. But at the same time, you also have those Gen Xers, those baby boomers that are either downsizing or refinancing. And they're going to want a little bit more direct communication. They're going to want a little bit more touchy-feely in person, guide me through this kind of customer experience. So one of the keys is being flexible, staying up on the new trends while still also providing for those borrowers who aren't as tech savvy, aren't as up on new trends as you are. The second one is be unique. Customize your loan products, customize your consumer experiences, find your niche and market that. Do what you feel comfortable doing. And then I think one thing that is going to really make somebody stand out in this industry is to be a resource even after closing. And you do that by networking and continuing your education and understanding what's available in your community for homeowners, and touching base with people. If you continue to be a resource for them when they're ready to sell, when they're ready to refinance, when they're ready to add on that extra mother-in-law suite, who are they going to come back to? The person that has been there for them since the beginning of the process. So really about establishing relationships with these people, with your borrowers, so that they can continue to come back to you for anything they might need housing related. And I think that's really going to be a great opportunity. And we're going to see what Amy has to say. And hopefully I didn't steal your thunder.
You did. You did, but mine is a little bit of a different spin. Mine was going to be about being flexible, which is what my first broker told me, and also about expertise, but in a different way. The real estate industry, there are so many different areas that you can work in: commercial, agricultural, but most of us do think of residential real estate, and it's the people business. It's the people business. And I think that's why so many people who were in the service industry, like I was a, yes, I was a hairdresser, but I was also a waitress, and I was a server for a long time while I was getting my hair license. But it's the people business. You are helping people spend probably the most money they will in their lifetime on any one item. And it's a nerve-wracking process. And you've got to be flexible with, you're going to show houses at 2 on Saturday. You're going to maybe need to pivot because their baby is sick. It's the people industry, and learning how to adjust, and you will attract a clientele like you. If you are a numbers person and that's why you're buying your house, it's an investment. Yes, you live there, but you will attract a clientele that thinks the way that you do, maybe. If you are all about lifestyle and you want to live in a certain neighborhood and live a certain way, that's a certain kind of personality. And you have to be flexible and work with your own strengths. And that's the other thing, is be the expert. The reason in real estate that we can accept compensation for helping people with buy and sell real estate is because we're professionals. We're real estate experts. And know your market, know what you're talking about, stay up on things, stay in contact, and know what's going on in your market, in your area, in what you work in. A lot of places in the country go through different cyclical things, and they may have to be an expert in a lot of things, not just one area.
Thank you, Amy. We're going to keep kicking it along here. I'm going to wrap up with one key point from each of you, about advice for newcomers, please.
So just bridging up what Amy talked about, people, we need you. If you're tired of people, please come to the appraiser profession, because we are half in the field with people and half in the office. And my office is in my living room, so I can watch the family movie. We need you. We need new appraisers. So my biggest advice is, when you get this ebook, page 16. So with that, Steve, what is your advice?
Well, raising 50%, we're not in an office 80%. So about 80% of the time we're out in the field. We're visiting houses, and I've been in multi-million-dollar houses to like little shacks and everything in between. So there's a lot of opportunity to see beautiful homes of every variety, meet people. But for newcomers, the real key is you got to put in the time, right? You got to read the material. You got to read the books. You got to do your practice inspections. You got to, meet people and talk to people and do your research. I mean, I can't stress it enough. Probably the most successful students I've had over the last 20 years are the people who ask the questions. And if you don't ask the questions, you don't know the answers, right? Nobody knows everything. So the people literally, I had one guy named Dylan in California. He literally called me or texted me or emailed me about 500 times in his first year in business. And he's very successful, still in business to this day. He's been in business like 20 years. So ask the questions. You're up, Michelle.
I'm up, and I'm going to make it really simple. Advice for newcomers: just do it. If you've ever considered it, if you ever thought about it, just do it. Now is your time. Go for it.
Same
And on to
thing.
Amy.
We have all the tools to make you successful. And this is the time, jump in. Don't question yourself. If you're interested in this, let's do it. And it is so much possibilities ahead of you. There are so many possibilities in this industry to be in the real estate sales end. A lot of salespeople move into the appraisal world, the mortgage world, and even the home inspection world. So more knowledge is better. That's my advice for newcomers. Keep always learning. And what do we all think that 2025 will be the year of? What do you guys think?
I love this question.
Just launched a poll so everybody can add in their own thoughts. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know, does the panel have any brief fill in the blank on this one?
So number one, I love this because, sorry, Michelle, I love this because you don't have to do the, what I'm going to change this year. It's just picking a word. And Michelle has got some wonderful words of wisdom.
Oh, so I would say 2025 will be the year of just taking the leap for everyone, for people starting in the career, for people who have been sitting on the fence, deciding whether to buy or not, whether to refi. I think it's just going to be the year. Things are settling down, they're smoothing out, and we're all just going to take the leap this year.
Good word, opportunity. If you take advantage, you'll be successful. If you sit on your couch, it's never going to happen.
And
well, they can't sit on the couch and take their training classes. Sorry, Amy, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But I just want to caveat that, right? I mean, that's what the CE Shop is all about. You can be on your couch getting your education. Sorry, Amy.
Yes. And 2025 is the year of opportunity and change. What are you going to do this year? Get started.
All right. Now, I know we're right at the end of our time here. We have been monitoring the questions in the chat. Stephen, thank you so much. You've been helping to answer as we go along. If you do have any new questions that we haven't talked about here today, feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll see if we can squeeze a few more answers in before we wrap up today. I did also pop in a link here to our Career Navigator quiz. I know it sounds like all of these fields are very interesting and exciting, and sometimes people need a little bit more to help understand the details of each one. So check that quiz out, might help you out a little bit.
So I'm going to interrupt. I see there's a question, appraisal of fire damage. Yes, unfortunately, FEMA appraisals or damaged properties is a great source of work. I hate to say it like that. Whenever there's a tragedy or whenever there's a loss of an asset, an appraisal needs to be done. And they are one of those niche fields because you're appraising that property with a hypothetical prior to the damage. So there is a desperate need for, I don't know how much more to beg you all to come into the profession. We need you. The public needs you. And the fires is an example.
I'm going to jump in and answer Rain's question before we run out of time. There are a lot of jobs in the real estate industry that pay a salary, and property management is huge in real estate right now. Like I said, the people in the United States live in structures for the most part, and even if they don't own them, someone does. And most of the time they don't run it for themselves. And a lot of times that's a salaried position. Sometimes you can be a property manager in an apartment complex and get an apartment and a salary. It just depends. But property management is huge, and there are people who are full-time property management companies who just manage HOAs and their assets and things of that nature. There are a lot of salaried positions for people who they're not looking for the flexibility, they're looking for more of a steady income. But it's different. You don't make the chunks of money at one time that you might buying and selling, but you would get something more steady.
All right, I'm seeing some questions about the ebook and some other things. The ebook and a recording of this session will be sent to each and every one of you via email. Let's see, just a few more questions.
So let me grab the
ahead,
one
Becky.
with the age. No, I'm a great grandmother. I will be in the appraisal profession until I'm 90 because that's the beauty of the profession. We have desktop appraisals where I don't even have to go on site. I'm in upstate New York. I do not go out in the snow any longer. That's the beauty of the appraisal profession. So no, don't be discouraged because of your age at all.
All right. Amy, do you think you could wrap us up with one more question of the best way to get your first clients?
The best way to get your first clients is to let people know what you do for a living. A lot of times your firm will give you a name tag. I wear it to the grocery store even. Tell people and ask for business. A lot of times people are really bashful to say, hey, this is what I'm doing now, if you know anybody. But also if you're uncomfortable asking for business, make people at least aware of what you do and that you are looking for business. And don't be a hermit. Get out there, let people know what you do. I mean, you're offering a service. You're not, people don't have to take it, but if they know what you do, they'll ask you. Always be willing to answer questions. Like Steve said, he's got a student that calls him from when he was in school, but being the go-to source for information for people will end up, it's a seed that's planted that grows.
All right. Thank you so much. Wonderful panelists here today. Great questions. If you are interested or looking for courses, I see some of those questions coming through. Please check out our website. We'll have those links in the follow-up email as well. But that's a wrap for our session here today. So great session. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We sure appreciate it. Have a good one.